So, do you happen to be the CEO of your home kitchen? Let's talk about this back in a minute. I have a little bit of an easy to do recipe. Back in a minute. Morning, good morning. How you doing today? Oftentimes we walk around our grocery stores or we happen to click on this online because a mix seems so easy to use. And they really are like, mixed rubs or coatings or gravies. We could start keeping a little more money as CEOs of our kitchens at home by putting together our own and assembling our own. For example, in this case, in a little bit of an easy to do recipe, if we could just put mixes together on our own and not spend that extra money, because more than likely, see, here's the thing. And by the way, I forgot to identify myself. Hi, I'm Jana from New York City, and I love helping people keep their own hard earned money. Is that you? I'll wake up yet. But anyway, I just wanted to, share this idea of, like, lots of times we hear, work with what you have, and that's great. But like, here's a specific thing that we could do. We could easily make our own chicken coating recipe. And here's one as basic as all heck. Now, some of the ones that I went over and read, to me, appear to have, in my honest opinion, perhaps maybe a lot of salt in them. So what I'm thinking is that we could tailor. We have to put our creative twist on things. Now, what do I mean by this? Coating mix, something that is readily, easily available, that you could add your oil to at the last minute when you need it. In other words, put all the dry ingredients together in advance. And you could store that, for example, easily in your refrigerator. And anytime you want to coat some chicken or pork, for example, for cooking and make your life easier, the whole thing is already assembled, like as if you went to the grocery store and you did that. Okay. Then you could take like a Ziploc type bag or another bag. Doesn't have to be that bag, but you could use that bag. But whatever bag you have, then you could place the chicken or pork pieces, for example, in there and just give it a shake. All done, done, done. And then you just, pretty much throw it in your oven and you cook it off. Just as easy as that. We don't always have to buy the pre-made one. There are things we could do. And the thing is, most of the ingredients that I'm showing you here, that I'm going to show you here in a second, you probably have. Now, let's say I give you this list of ingredients, and let's say, for example, one of the uh, one of the ingredients is a tablespoon of celery salt. Let's say that normally you don't keep celery salt in your home. Guess what? This recipe could live without celery salt. Okay, so don't run to the grocery store and spend X number of dollars just on celery salt unless this is what you want. But that's not necessary. Okay, so what you could do is swap it out for another favorite ingredient that you do have on hand. So this is what I'm trying to say. Now, many times these recipes will say, for example, uh, you know, to coat the oil, put the oil in it. I, for me, I would rather keep all the dry ingredients assembled, and then until I need it, then I would add the amount of oil. So let's get started. And you may want to write this down. Okay. So what you're basically going to need are the following to make your own CEO at home, chief executive officer of your kitchen. Ingredients for this rub for chicken or for pork. Okay, ready? You're going to now listen carefully to this part. This is what's going to be needed eventually. Okay, so you're going to need vegetable oil, and the amount you're going to need per this recipe would be 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. So you don't have to pour it anywhere. Just keep it to the side and know you're going to need vegetable oil to do this. Now here are all the dry ingredients. So you're gonna need 4 cups of dry breadcrumbs. Okay, just regular good old crumbs. Next, 1 tablespoon of salt. Now, if you don't want salt or you want to reduce it, reduce it. Okay. 1 tablespoon of paprika. Paprika gives it that nice little coating of color. It does offer a slight flavor. Next, 1 tablespoon of celery salt, as I had mentioned earlier. You don't have celery salt, you don't have celery salt. The world is not going to come to a catastrophic halt because you don't have celery salt. 1 teaspoon of black pepper, ground black pepper. Okay. Now, let's say you don't like ground black pepper. Okay. Well, either you lessen it or you omit it. See, this is what I'm trying to say. There might be things that, like, I don't really like ground black pepper. Maybe you prefer white pepper. Maybe you prefer no pepper. Just saying. Okay. Next, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, if you don't have garlic powder and you have garlic salt, then you can use that. Just saying, just saying. And by the way, because garlic powder can be costly, you could make so much more of a stretch of it if you, let's say, combine garlic powder with some of the salt and make your own garlic salt. Just use less, but it really does stretch that garlic flavor, and you're saving a little bit of money there. This, again, it's so much fun to have, like, use your own ideas with mixes and blends and seasonings. Next, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Now, some of these mixes I've noticed, like maybe wants minced onion. To me, so much simpler working with all the powders. They're very readily available. Mix well, you can put them away. And then finally, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And that's so simple. Now, if you don't have per se Italian seasoning, just mix a little bit of dried parsley, dried oregano together. If you want, you could do that very, very simply if you want to do that. If you do not have Italian seasoning, is there a flavor that I might not have mentioned that you would like to incorporate in your dry mix? I say go for it. If this is something you personally enjoy, why not go for it? This is where creativity comes in handy, okay? Now, the way to assemble it at the time that you're going to use it, mix all these together, by the way, and you can put it away for future use. You can make a whole bunch of it by doubling or tripling up everything I said, okay? And then at the time of usage, you could, put it together, which going to add, last of all, to the assembled stuff that you're going to use as needed. For every 4 cups of the dry breadcrumb mixture, which would include these flavors, for every 4 cups, you should add a little bit of vegetable oil. I would say probably about 1/3 of a cup. You can just simply add that to that in the last minute. So basically, what are you doing? You're just putting the oil with all the stuff you put together, which you already did in advance. You didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy a separate box of coating mix. You didn't have to go to the grocery store and maybe eat ingredients you're really not too fond of, because you could tailor make it to your own taste. Then you just coat your chicken and then just cook it as usual. And like I said earlier, you can also use this with pork. So I hope that this helps someone out and maybe gets a little creative in your kitchen. I'm sure you guys are. I'm sure you guys love to work in your kitchen. And I know one thing, everyone here loves to keep a little extra money in their pocket. And why not? I'll probably be back later on with another recipe video. I don't know, in a few hours. And I'm going to wish everybody an amazing, fantastic day. And if you have your own twist on your own mixes for chicken, please let us know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate everyone's time. Take good care and have a great day.